Okay, ladies, I think 6 o'clock is here, so I think we're going to go ahead and start. It's nice to see all of you coming tonight. Don't know what the roads are going to be like going home, but I hope they stay pretty good. They were good coming into town today. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. Welcome to everyone that's here. I've been kind of trying to keep my eyes open for the Grand Rapids ladies because they were thinking of coming over tonight, but maybe they decided not to. I don't see any of them here. Do we have any new members that joined this evening? Would you raise your hand if you're a new member? A new old one? Well, that's good. New old is always good. How about any guests this evening? Okay, we have one here. Are you from Bemidji? Yes. Okay, welcome. And you're from Walker? Very good, welcome.
And Edith is here. So you can see.
And are there any birthdays that we'd like to make mention of tonight? Okay. Well, I think what we're going to do this evening, we have a presenter with us, one of our very own, Donna Olson, and we're very excited to listen to her talk about her trip to Bali. And she brought lots of things with her to show also. Jay is going to do some filming. He's going to have this live stream tonight, I believe, and then we'll have on the website. So that is going to be very fun. We can share that with our sewing friends.
For those that are out there want to see the screen, they'll probably need to move back here. I'll set up some more chairs.
So we'll start with Secretary's report. Did anyone have any additions or corrections? Did you have a chance to look it through?
Donna Olson, I make a motion that we accept the Secretary's report as written.
Do I have a second? Nikki Lemmer. All in favor say aye. Aye. That's Secretary's report is passed. Next we have a treasurer's report. That was in the email that was sent out. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about that?
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Very good. Rose Brown. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Linda Arnold.
Linda Arnold, second. Very good. Motion is passed. Well, I think we're going to hop right into the presentation.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. I'll tell you, I had 620 pictures to go through. So hopefully I got this down. So Lily, could you hit that light switch that's right there for me?
We can dim it a little more.
Okay. So I'll get the big question out of the way. What did this cost? That's the big one. Well, I'll tell you what, the actual trip, I was on Bali for 2 weeks, and that was just under $3,000. The flights, I flew out of Bemidji to Phoenix, stayed with my daughter, and then flew from Phoenix to San Francisco to Singapore over to Bali. All of that was 20 hours of flight and about $3,000. So, about 5,000, 6,000, and then I took a couple thousand because I knew I wanted to buy fabric. The hard part was not the price of the fabric, but the weight of the fabric, because doing an international flight, you get 2 bags of 50-pound, 2 50-pound bags that you can take, which was great. But my 3rd bag cost me a few bucks. But I have all my treasures that I bought are over on the table, so you can go look through that. And some of the stuff that I made is up here, and we'll show you that as we go. So hopefully we can get you through this, and I'll try very hard to get through. So this was in the airport. So we got to welcome to Bali. And this was just outside. tropical, and it was during the rainy season, but it was between 85 to 89 constantly, and we only had rain one night. Now the first place we went, of course, was to where you buy all this wonderful fabric, and all of it's on flat, hanging up there. And it was just vendor after vendor after vendor. Isn't that you just go in there and you just wipe your chin, you're just drooling. This was outside of my window, or outside where I flew into Densbar, and our hotel was right on the ocean. So when I had breakfast, this is what I was looking at. This was in my hotel. All of the dragons and anything that you see there is done out of soft concrete. So it's not hard yet, and then they carve it to get all of these structures in here. This was outside of my balcony. Now this, as you can see, this right here is all one piece of fabric, and it's about 15 yards. So this is the first place that we went to go, and I got to dye fabric. So I will show you what I got to do. This is a copper stamp. They make them there, and they're usually one of a kind because a gentleman is doing this freehand. All right? And so this here, that is the fabric that you saw that was hanging. That's the 15 yards. This right here, one of those strips, is 15 yards of fabric. The reason it doesn't look like that, it's all scrunched up. And a little side note, these guys right here, roosters, they have cockfighting over there. But this is where we dyed our fabric. They had all of the dyes there that we could use. And there they are, bringing out it's all scrunched up. You'll see it in a second. This one here is mine. Linda? So what I wanted was, go ahead and come on over here. Blue's up top. No, blue's on the bottom. Okay. Right there. I wanted to do a Bali sunset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread paint this and turn this into something really special. But this was my first one that I had done. So this is one of my hand dyes that I did. Thank you.
We're not ready for the next one yet?
Nope. This is Gail. She was our leader. We had 6 women, and I didn't know a single one, and we had a great time. So she's the one, she used to have this as a business. She would be one of the vendors you'd see at a quilt show. And she, because of COVID, obviously, she lost her business. So she went and reversed it and took quilters over to where they make the fabric. So that's what she did. And she does 2 weeks in Bali. Then she'll do another 2 weeks in Bali for the second group, and then they go over to Thailand for 2 weeks. So she's got 2 sets of trips that she does. There I am. I'll tell you what, yes it was. Strict instructions, you stick that in hot wax, shake it 3 times, then you hold your hand steady and stamp each one. And this one's mine.
I don't want to walk in front of you. Yes, I will.
Oop, hold on. So the first one is that I had a colored fabric, and then I stamped my stamp on there, and then we went and re-dyed it. So there were 2 different colors in there. And this was all included in the price of the tour, of my packaging. And right here, this is my little fan that was invaluable because it was hot. There was no air conditioning in here, but it was fun. It was absolutely fun. And this is where they would rinse out the colors. It looks horrible, but this is where your fabric comes from. This is our grand champion. Had to get a picture of him. They were very proud of him. This was my dinner one night. It's a local fish, sweet and sour, and it's this gourami sweet and sour sauce. So they went out, caught the fish, and had it that morning. Now this right here is all of these plants that are here and here, the bark, the leaves, the roots, the berries, all of this is what they use in their dyes. They're very, very secretive as to the formulas that they use. But this is a sample of the plants that they used to dye. All of this comes from the city when they were trimming the trees. So they have a contract with them that they get these leaves, and then what they do is they mulch it down, and then they use that for part of their dyes. So everything in Bali is a third world country, and everything is repurposed, recycled, reused over and over. And so this is what they have done, is that they utilize that for your fabric. Here are samples of what we could do. This up in here were samples of what we had the choice to dye. So, I got one in out of there. Stu got me an extra one in. This is one of the weavings that they do to create the fabric. A lot of them weave their own fabric. And so right here, I am making, this is my dyeing right here. And what I did was, this little portion right there, you'd stick a stick up in the back of the fabric, wrap it real tight, and then do another one. And that's, as you can see, I'm putting rubber bands around it and tying it up. Have you ever done tie-dye? It's along the same lines. That's the indigo dye that I was sticking it in. And there it is. Oop, there you go.
Did that start out white?
Yes, this was white. So you either had a choice of a shawl or fabric. And I thought, if I can get somebody to finish it for me, I'm going to take it. So this was my first one. My second one, I was so excited. I have never done airbrush. And so here, they laid this pattern down right here, and that is my first time using, I was so excited. I was like this. So I got to do that.
Did you come home and buy one?
No, no. But this is it. Isn't that something? I was just tickled pink over this. In fact, I had him sign it. So that, yeah, he signed all of these for me. The guy was really nice. And that's the gentleman that helped me. They're pretty good to us old ladies. In the morning, the shopkeepers and the locals will go to the marketplace, and they will get all of their food that they need for the day. This is a Hindu mainly Hindu religion that is there, and so they've got a lot of offerings that they do, and so everything is fresh. A lot of incense is burnt in those, and you are absolutely told do not step on those. It is very huge insult to them and to their gods. So you had to be very careful where you were walking because they would be right out in the middle of the road. But they would all go to these markets to pick up stuff. This is one of their temples. And every village, every family has their own temple. And it is not just one family, it's not mom and dad, it's the cousins and the aunts and uncles. They all become a village unto themselves, and they all have their own temple. This is one of the bigger temples. This was the inside of the temple that they paint. And there's a dragon that was sitting out. And then the next day, we got to go to a cooking class. And so this was our ingredients. This was our 3-course dinner that we had. There's some of the products, the produce that we used. And there I am grounding the nuts for one of the ingredients. And then after I was all done with that, he brought the mixer out. But this is the chef, and oh my goodness, did he have a great sense of humor. Oh, and he was a wonderful cook too. Oh my goodness. You see the water that's here. Every place, do you want some water? Do you want some water? Because you do not drink the water that is there. It's an island. They do not have the infrastructure to facilitate all of the guests that are there, the tourists. So they say, you know, like going down to Mexico, you do not drink the water. Well, they always had water for everybody. Very generous, the kindest people I have ever met. They were wonderful. So here's our dinners that we were having. This pink right there was a dragon fruit crepe. Oh, it was delicious. Oh my goodness sakes. And there was that's my dinner. It doesn't look very appetizing, but it was delicious. And you have to tell them, do you like it mild, medium, or fire? And they know how to make fire. And I said, I like mild, please. So and there's my crepe right there. And this, the bananas that they have. And they grow their own bananas right there. So you just go out and pick what you want. And after that, then we went to the other side of the island, and we had dinner, a sunset dinner. And this was where we had dinner at. Now this is something really special. This is ICAT, I-K-A-T. The threads are hand-dyed. They are hand-woven. And it is a work of art. This is just a small shawl. That's just a sample. But the work of art that I love is this dress that I have. And I don't know if you can see it, but it shimmers. It's iridescent. Well, I wish you could see it in there, but it's just beautiful. Teals and blues and purples. These are the threads that are in here. And this is a dress. I did wear it before I came home, but because of Thanksgiving and Christmas, we have a few problems. But here's the lady. She is spinning the thread. Okay? And look at how these things are made. This is a fan. Do you see that? They make do with what they can get. So, of course, I had to practice. So here's the thread. Then they take the threads, and up here are the spools. So they're spinning that onto the spools. And then there's 10 threads in that line that I have right there. And then this contraption right here just circles around. And so you're weaving this thread onto that. And there's my dress I have. Then right here, what they do is they wrap each one of these. This is where your resist comes in. So here's the pattern up here. And so each one of these has 10 threads in there. And I think you go 10 times for each one. So there's 100 threads in each one of these. Each one of that is 100 threads. So there's the loom. It takes them 2 months to take all those threads and run them through. All of these are individual slots that it goes through. And there she is starting to weave. And you can see the fabric right down here that she's going through. And I'll tell you what, that was harder than you think, getting the shuttle to pass through, pull that back and have it lock in right. But it was fun. It was an experience. And there you can see where they had the resist. So they would go through, and it was just amazing.
So my understanding is that each thread was dyed, and then they putting those threads in there one at a time.
Yes. Yes. This is my room when I went inland to UBUD. So those are my beds. That's my bed. Here's my bathroom. Orchids were like weeds over there. They were everywhere. The poinsettias that you have for Christmas, they were like this tall, and they trimmed them. It was just the tropical, but they were just beautiful and everywhere. Now, where I was at in UBUD, we were by Monkey Island, is what they called it. And of course, they had the monkeys there. The monkeys are thieves, and they've trained them to do that. So they'll come up, if you have glasses on, if you have a water bottle, they'll come down and they'll rip it out of your hands or off your face, take off, and then the attendants that are there will take a little banana and bribe them to get your possessions back. So these guys, this is where I was eating breakfast, and these guys were right next door, and they were sitting up there, and I went, oh, first day, monkeys. You know, I get my camera out, I'm going up there, and this big male, this gentleman right here, he came down, and he looked at me, and you could just see him get up like this, and I went, oh, I ducked my head, and I just backed up, because the last thing I wanted was him to come after me, because his ladies were around. This next place is where we went to do another type of dyeing of fabric, and this is where they use the canting pen. It's a little pen that you put hot wax in, and you draw on your design with hot wax. And this wax is your resist, so that when you paint on there with the dye, it keeps it separate from the other places. So this one's small. So this is what I did. So I went through, and I thought I was being experienced. Thought I had it all down with the wax. They had to go back over the next time, and they can't do over the top because the wax is already there. So they have to turn it around and re-wax everything so that my resist And as you can see, I wasn't quite as good as I was hoping, but for my first time, I was tickled. But,
Did you have to dye that?
beg your pardon?
How many times did you dip that?
Oh, you paint it.
Oh, you painted?
You paint it, yes. And some of these dyes react with the sun. So as soon as you got it out into the sun or into hot water, it changes colors. So these were some of the designs that you could do. This is the beginning when you draw the design on there. This is where they have the wax on it, and this is after they have dyed it, painted it. And that's where, these are the canting pens right there, very primitive. And this is where the hot wax is, and it is very hot. But that's where you dip that in, and you go and paint on it, like that. And you got to be careful that the wax doesn't run. And here's another example. This is a sarong, and this is done the same way.
Did you make that one?
No, I did not. And any guesses what this thing cost in US dollars? $7. Yeah, this was $7.
From them,
Yeah,
but if you bought it here.
if you bought it here, you probably couldn't afford it. But over there, this was the equivalent of $7. But every place that you would go into a temple, you had to have your legs covered and your arms covered. So they would have these there for you to wear. And as soon as you got out of the temple, you just gave it back, and that's what they did. But you can see back here all the different ones that they have done. Now this one is our eco-printing. That was okay. I don't know that I'd want to do that one again, but they gave us such a long piece of fabric, and we were down on our knees doing this. But this is the one, last one, Linda. This is the one that I did. Let's see. Oh, that's the back, so we'll just flip this. So they just went out into their garden, and they got their leaves and flowers that they had on their property and just brought them in, and we put another sheet of fabric over the top, and they rolled it up, and they put it through a hot water bath to get that. So that's how this was done. Other ones that you can do, I've got a book bag over there. We took and put fabric on, or plants on there, and we pounded it in. Remember how you used to do that with flowers and wax paper? But that's an eco-printing. This was 5 o'clock in the morning. These are live volcanoes, and we are right at sunrise. And it was just breathtaking. This is just fog, and down in here was a little town. They used to live up on top of the volcano, but the volcano went off, and they lost everything, and then they moved, so. And this one is exciting. I have some spices over there that you're welcome to look at and smell. They smell wonderful. But we went to a coffee and tea plantation. This wonderful little mammal, they feed them coffee beans. They eat these coffee beans, and when it passes through, they turn them into this expensive coffee that people just can't wait to buy, It did not come home with me, per my husband's instructions. But this is what they do. There it is. And yeah, it was an experience. But everything that's there, the cinnamon, the nutmeg right there, all of this is grown right on their property. So they just go out, they pick it, harvest it. These are the coffees that we got to sample, and the teas. And so they brought all of these out, and we just had a little cup that we would just dip a little bit into and taste whatever we want. And of course, they've got a store there for you to purchase anything. But yeah, that was an experience. This is exciting. I said that they recycle everything. So when a business has glass breakage, these companies that blow glass, they go and they get the damaged product. So depending on what color of glass that came out, depends on what you get. So blues, greens. But this gentleman, and notice what he's wearing. And there he is. Now this right here, these are pieces of wood that they have cut, and he is dropping this blob of glass into the wood, and it molds right into it. So here's the glass, here's the wood. He drops it right down into it. Oh my goodness. And that's what they have. And these things, there were some that were 2-3 feet tall, and it was just beautiful.
Are those wood pieces reusable?
Well, they cut them so that it can be used for this specifically. So there's some samples of what they've got. Isn't that beautiful? But it will only go one way because it molded right into it. This gentleman was very exciting. I have a sample over there of a little dragon. He is a mask maker. His family, he has trained under his family for generations. Each village specializes in one specific thing. So they're either mask makers or dyeing fabric, or it's passed on through generations. Animation, oh, this guy loved what he did. He really did. And you can see his tools down here. He would hold the piece of alligator wood with his feet. He'd kind of carve in what he wanted, and then he'd start chiseling out. And these are some of his masks up here. Here's some more.
Were his masks for sale, Donna?
Yeah.
And how much would they pay you?
It depends on what you wanted, because they came, I mean, the little dragon I have over there, and the reason it's small is because I had to pack it and bring it home. Gosh, I might have paid $2 or $3 US dollars for it. So, yeah. He also showed us how they worked. So during all their ceremonies, they would have these masks. And he did the mask for the royalty. And there's the mask. There's the headdresses that he carved for them. The painting on this is a bobblehead of a turtle. But the painting on him was just exquisite. This is the alligator wood that they used. Very lightweight when what they do, but it's called the alligator wood because that's what the outside looks like. This is called Balinesian painting. This is done with pen and ink. Again, this is You have apprentices working under you. It's turned cockeyed, but this is all hand carved for a frame. This young lady right here, she was 16, and I have her painting over there. I asked her, I said, "Can I buy your painting?" And she looked at me. I said, "I'll give you $300,000 for it," which is 18 bucks. And she says, "Really?" I said, "I would love to buy that from you. I would like to show the ladies what you do." She goes, "Okay." I said, "You have to sign it." So she did. This lady, I got her. She's 11, and she's just learning how to do these. And these are ideas in their heads. They do not have something to look from. But you can see the paintings behind that the master had done. This one here, I paid $500,000 for it. And this he just had laying in a stack. But this is all done with ink.
So
Isn't
how
that
much
beautiful?
is that in American?
In America, 100,000 is about $6. So,
What does that 100,000 buy them?
well, everything is geared around that. It's just what they deal with. They couldn't comprehend us just having a dollar bill. They just don't deal with that kind of stuff. So it's just what they're used to dealing with. So,
Do they buy food and stuff with
Mhm.
that, groceries and
mhm, mhm,
necessities?
mhm, mhm.
So
If they
how-
don't have it growing in their backyard, most of them have rice paddies in their backyard. And what's amazing is that they have to be careful because you'll find ducks back there, different waterfowl, snakes. Yeah, it's just, it's nice to look from afar. But that was my trip. I just am excited about showing you these things. I do have one other thing that I will pass around. This is an antique that I bought, and I paid $500,000 for this. But this is bamboo and is carved. And the inside is what the ladies would have had their white powder for their makeup that they would have. And so, because of the moisture here, it kind of swelled up. I had to have Jay open that. But it was just exquisite being there. Holidays and events were going on constantly, and the streets would just be shut off. You can't go through here. And then you would see these women were dressed. It was just incredible. Gold in their hair, their makeup done, beautiful dresses, and then they would be sitting side saddle on a little moped because that's what was easiest thing to go on through there. But it's one of those things that there's so much that went on, and it's so much that when I came home, I realized how wasteful I was compared to that. I was so thankful. Jay, are we done recording?